George Kilpatrick, inspiration for the nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Well, Reggie Kelley is somebody we feel good about. He is the executive director of Rise Above Poverty. And I got to tell you, Reggie, I often get you confused, the name of your thing confused with El Amin. Am I the only one that does that?
No, we get that a lot. And so how we differentiate with people in the community, we say he focuses on the adults and he does an outreach every Saturday with the sandwiches. We simply tell people we work with the kids. So we work with the Syracuse City School District as well as Syracuse School District to provide those daily essential items. So that's how I tell people, same focus, same cause, but we have different demographics.
And similar names, because I know I've called his program Rise Above the Street. Wait, I said we rise above the streets, right? Like I've definitely done that, like live on the air. Yeah. So you're Rise Above Poverty. You and I met when I was doing some work with the youth and Engaging Men program down at was then Danforth School, because that was your target then, and you were asking the community to donate toiletries and other supplies for children, and that was coming out of your own experience of homelessness. Talk about that.
Well, I never experienced homelessness, but what happened to me was I read an article on Syracuse.com about the homeless and poverty rates at that point in time. Danforth Middle School is now known as Brighton Academy. Right. And I was so appalled and disgusted by the rates. I believe at the time the article mentioned the rates was like 75% poverty rate and 13% homeless rates. But upon meeting with the caseworker at the school, she said those rates are much higher because the schools and, the county just can't get an accurate reading of those who are homeless as well as those who are impoverished. So upon reading that article, I felt compelled to do something. The Lord said, Reggie, I want you to help those students. After meeting with the caseworker, and I said, well, how can I help you help your students? And she mentioned to me she said, the basic things that you and I take for granted: soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, clean socks, and underwear. And so from there, I reached out to family, friends, work colleagues, and that's how Rise Above Poverty was created and born. And by God's grace, that was 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years in May that we started Rise Above Poverty. And we started at Danforth Middle School at that point. And now we probably have been in at least 20 schools in the district of Syracuse, as well as in Solvay and North Syracuse.
Yeah, and I don't know where I got that from around your own story, but I know that it was something that was compelling to you enough so that you wanted to make a difference. And at that time, I don't believe you had an organization necessarily. It was just your desire to help.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like I wanted to do something. I needed to do something. I came from a single parent home, but my mom was blessed to have a job that was able to provide for me and my sister. So I didn't have the hardships that many of these students face today growing up, where not knowing where their next pair of socks or underwear are coming from, not having deodorant to put on, or be in a position to take a bath. Many of our students face these hardships on a daily basis. And so when I look at kids, I go back to my childhood, and that's probably that life experience that you're talking about. I'll go back to my childhood. That was probably some of the best or funniest or fun times of my life, just growing up, not having a care in the world, because I knew mom was able to provide those things that I need. But for kids today, that's not the case. And I want to do whatever I can to help alleviate the effects of poverty and homelessness on our students in our community.
Now, according to your research, 1 in 10 Syracuse City School District students are homeless, and almost half of them are living at the poverty level. So we're talking a large population. And I think this idea of homeless youth is underestimated, I would say, because, oftentimes people aren't saying what's happening with them.
Absolutely. Particularly in the African-American community, that saying, what happens in this house stays in this house. So if a family is experiencing homelessness, they're not going to share that information with a school to start tracking that information. So you may have a family bouncing around from a relative's house for 2 or 3 days to another relative's house for 2 to 3 days, and that information is not being recorded or tracked by the district or the county or whatever that case may be. So I believe the homeless rates are higher than what's actually being reported. And the same thing for poverty. I mean, we see the statistics and the reports coming out from the various media outlets here in Syracuse stating that one out of every two child under the age of 18 lives in poverty here in Syracuse. So those are statistics not that we created at Rise Above Poverty, but we're getting them from Syracuse.com and their reporting. So yes, it's an epidemic here as far as childhood poverty and homelessness.
Your program has, for you, this is a ministry, but it has even taken on a deeper meaning in your own life. Talk about how this has become a ministry and a ministry.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, God told me, hey, Reggie, I want you to help these kids that are, suffering from poverty and homelessness. So when I started it, I tell people this is something God ordained for me to do to help people in the community. And by his grace, I've been able to expand that to create a reading program to help third and fourth graders read on reading level for their appropriate grade levels, as well as a boys mentoring program. So those are things that have inspired me to move further with developing this ministry at Rise Above Poverty. And also during that time, I just completed my qualifications to become a pastor. So I'm actually the children and outreach pastor at Syracuse Alliance Church, where I've been at for the last 3 years.
And when you talk about the youth and the young boys, you're talking about boys from ages 8 to 14. And how do you reach those young men? Are they young men at your church, or are you cultivating these relationships at the various schools?
So actually neither. So we have some boys obviously from our church, but really it's from the community. So we do some advertising on our Facebook page at Rise Above Poverty, our website, and we reach out to, we get a lot of referrals. So when people say, I want to put my boy in a program where he can be mentored, where he can, be around some, men of character, we get those referrals. And so we take on those requests and we simply walk through life with the young men that are in our program. I tell parents right off the bat, because they know me, they may say, oh, he's pastor, but I say, hey, this is not a Bible study. It's a mentoring program. We walk them through different topics that we feel that they will face in life if they haven't already. So we talk about respect, we talk about integrity, peer pressure, how to handle social media, anger, hygiene. So we're talking about regular issues that, we as adults may think, well, they know it. Well, in some cases, if they haven't been taught, they don't know it. And so we walk them through that process, show them what that looks like. We want to create a safe space for them. So many of our boys, I think we have 12 boys in the program. I want to say 9 of them come from single parent homes. And out of that 9, I believe 7 of them are living with grandma. So they don't have a male influence in their lives. And so we want to provide a positive, godly male influence for the young men in our program.
All right. So are you taking, I was talking to my daughter the other day, and she was talking about the need for mentors across the Syracuse School District. Do you have openings now?
Yes, we always have openings. So we recently received a call from Brighton Academy asking us if we had space, and we said, sure, bring them.
And when is this program? When is it held?
So the program is called Battle Ready Men, and we meet on the first 3 Mondays of each month. So we meet with the boys from 6 to 7:30 at Syracuse Alliance Church. And we encourage parents who are looking for a program to put their boys in to check us out. We don't hide anything. We encourage you to, ask us questions. We go over the curriculum, the topics that we're going to discuss with the boys. And, we even ask for parent input. We'll say, hey, what topics that we're not discussing and you think we should? And that's where the hygiene came up with during a conversation with parents. So we are always welcoming new boys to the program, and we encourage parent involvement, because I believe with mentoring as well as education, it's not just the teacher and the student, it's the teacher, student, and parent that helps that process succeed.
And you have a reading program coming up, a 14-week reading program you described earlier for 3rd and 4th grade.
Yes.
When does that begin, and how do people sign up for that?
So we have our program. It's called the Rise Above Poverty Reading Clinic. It's again, program for 3rd and 4th graders to help them read on grade level and also develop a love of reading. You know, I believe kids will read if you provide them resources that piques their interest. So it starts on February 28th at Syracuse Alliance Church. We have the program 2 days a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4:30 to 6:30.
And Syracuse Alliance Church is on Valley Drive, right? What's the address?
Well, Syracuse Alliance Church is located at 3112 Midland Avenue.
Oh, Midland Avenue. Okay.
Yep, Midland
I knew
Avenue.
it was, I knew it was in the Valley.
Yes. On the corner of Ballantyne. So check us out. A lot of stuff going on there with the mentoring program, reading clinic. We're going to have a kids life group starting in April as well. So I'm excited about that. I want to be able to provide a safe space for kids to be kids. So that's why all the programs I have is directed towards kids of that age group. I talked to several moms and I asked this question knowing the answer already. I said, hey, would you trust your boy to go to a local park and just play basketball? Because all the boys love to play basketball. And right after one after the other, a mom would say, no, I'm worried about gun violence. I'm worried about drugs. I'm worried about gangs. And it was just repeated whenever I did this brief survey with parents about whether or not they will allow their son to go to a park. So at Syracuse Alliance, we have a full-size gym there. So we allow boys to play basketball for certain days of the week. And again, we just want to provide a safe space for kids to come in and be kids.
I know you're always looking for donations of certain kinds of toiletries and products. How do people, first of all, where are you located? And how do people drop off items that you would need to provide to resources for these young people in the schools?
Yeah, so we're located at 600 West Genesee Street. That's West Genesee Street in the corner of Plum on the west side of Syracuse, about 2 blocks up from Dinosaur Barbecue. At this point in time, we're looking for deodorant for both boys and girls. We're looking for toothpaste, feminine care products, because we donate that as well. I failed to mention it, but we do that. And for those who really want to come out and support us, we also need laundry detergent. Many of our schools do laundry for students. So this year, I would probably say our second or third most requested item is laundry detergents, because so many of our schools are doing laundry for kids. So we've started taking on the request of asking for laundry detergent as well.
So right now, laundry detergent, feminine hygiene products, toothpaste, and deodorant. Now,
yes,
deodorant for kids. So what is there like a kid deodorant? I'm sure there is.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I'm beyond that age now. I don't remember what we used to do back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. So I know there's Teen Speed Stick. That's the popular one for boys and girls.
For boys and girls, Teen Speed Stick. Okay.
Yeah.
So get as many of that. And it's good to know, because I'm sure that there are organizations that are always looking to do something, and donations are always appreciated. Toothpaste, toothbrush, Teen Speed Stick.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that by? I was going to say, we should probably write to Gillette or Schick or whoever it is, P&G, and see what they want to do.
That's one of our goals, is to connect with these national brands to see if they would, partner with us, seeing that we are focusing on, providing these essential items to students who are impoverished and homeless. So that is one of our goals, to reach out to these national brands to do just that. Hey, would you be willing to donate? If not, would you be willing to sell to us at cost? Again, that would help us out as well. So yeah, that's another consideration that we've been considering this past year.
What are some other initiatives of Rise Above Poverty? By the way, Reggie Kelley is, or should we say, pastor, youth pastor. Reggie Kelley is in the house. Youth
pastor, community pastor. Other initiatives right now, we just have the mentoring program and the reading clinic. We are considering putting together an after-school program, but we're trying to get enough. We want to secure enough funding so we don't have to make that the determining factor whether or not we continue with that program. So look forward to that initiative coming soon, which would be an after-school program.
So this is, you get paid to do this work?
For Rise Above Poverty, no. But for ministry, the stuff I do at Syracuse Alliance, yes. So I do Rise Above Poverty because, again, this is something that the Lord placed on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and same for my team. I have a tremendous board and team, and I call them family because that's what they are. They're my family, and we all do this because we don't want to see kids suffer. We don't want to see kids go without. So none of us get paid. We all do this on a volunteer basis. Sometimes it requires us to leave our jobs to drop off donations to schools, but we've been very blessed to have the success that we have. My colleagues, employers have been gracious in allowing them to leave work to take donations to school to help students in need. So this ministry has been just incredible.
And I was going to also say that not only do you take the donations at your location at 600 West Genesee Street, and if you're saying, isn't that where that big church is? Yes, it is.
Yes. Yes.
Just in case you were wondering, right across from like Enterprise, like, yeah,
yes.
That's what we're talking about. Okay, so
and you won't miss it because we have a big sign on our building that says "Rise Above Poverty."
Yes, you do.
And our doors are painted red, so if you drive by, you're going to notice who we are because our sign is out front, as well as our door painted red to let people know this is where we are.
When you decided to answer the calling on your life, and that the Lord said to you, you should do this, Reggie, after you found the article in Syracuse.com about the poverty rate and the homelessness rate, and then the decision to do it. But then how do you know, Reggie, that, okay, I'm going to do this one time, but now I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. When did that click that this is, because you do it one time, wow, that's good. But then to make this something else, what do you say?
Well, I knew this wasn't going to be a one-time thing once I started sharing it with people, and my house
more than one-time thing. You
donations.
You said more than one thing. You said you knew it was going to be more than a one-time thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Just by the fact that every time I shared the story with someone, they wanted to help. And the donations kept coming. And while the donations kept coming, the word spread out about what we were doing in the community, and we were reaching more schools. And so I knew just from those two factors, the donations coming in, the schools reaching out to us, asking if we could help, I knew it was going to be a continual thing for us to keep doing Rise Above Poverty.
Do you ever get tired?
No, I don't get tired. At times I wish I could do more. What
more would you like to do?
Wow, if I could do more, I would do. My goal is to have a Rise Above Poverty Learning Institute where it would be reading and math. I would have a 5-day-a-week after-school program. I would have a mentoring program for girls, or partner with someone who's already doing a mentoring program for girls, all with the intentions of providing our young people something positive to do.
All right, so you're a man of faith, right?
Yes, sir.
So did you just speak it?
I'm hoping, George. Look, I can't say too much because my board gets nervous when I share with them my vision.
Right, because you have a vision, but now you got to go back to the board and they got to say it's all right. But it's okay to dream, right? So let's reframe that. If you and the board could have your way, these are the things you would like to see, is what I would let's give them some credit, right?
I would even say this: God has told me these are things that I want you to do. Okay. So the Learning Institute, I believe, is coming. Mm-hmm. The after school program, I believe, is coming. Same thing with the girls program is coming. One of the things I'm trying to do is develop as a leader running an organization, is to look at it as an organization, because I look at it so much as family, because the people that I partner with are like family to me. But now, if I'm going to take it further, I have to operate it as a business and not as a family setting.
And what's interesting is this is not a duplicated activity in many ways. I mean, this is like you're right in the middle of, you have the diaper bank and the CMY, you have other things, but this specific thing is something that the niche you're filling, and we're grateful for that work that you're doing. I mean, it must feel good to know that you're having an impact on families in this community. And how did you know that this was really working? What was the key for you to know that?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think I knew it was working when we would go into schools and the schools would receive us. So, um, the donation part was also a key, because when we tell people what we do, um, you know, our community of supporters are just incredible. I mean, if we ask for help with a item that we're running low on, all we have to do is really put a post on Facebook and we get donations like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also the success of, schools believing and trusting and knowing us, saying, hey, we need these things. Let's reach out to Rise Above Poverty and see if they can get it to us. That definitely makes us feel good, because we see it as we're helping the kids. So for us, when we go into the schools, we see it as we're reaching another group of kids who may not have the things that they need to allow them to focus on their academics.
Now, people will send the stuff to you at 600 West Genesee Street, but do they also just bring it to the school, and then the school then has you fix it or make it, presentable or whatever, or can they just bring it to the school and the school will just take care of it themselves?
Well, yeah, if people bring stuff to the schools, the school will take care of it themselves. If people send stuff to us, what we do is we put together a package of hygiene items as well as clothing, and we bring it to the school. So, I mean, people can do it on their own. That's great. But if they bring it to us, one of the things we're big on is when we do a donation drop off at a school, we take pictures. We want to show our community, hey, this is where your money is going. This is where your donation is going. So when you go out and buy a pair of socks or underwear, we want to take a picture of that donation at the school, because we want to show you where your money is going. Or if you're sending us money and you see us dropping off socks and deodorant and toothpaste and feminine care products, we want to be able to show you where your money is going. So we really are intentional about documenting, taking pictures with the school staff and stuff like that when we drop off supplies.
Very good. All right. Reggie Kelley is the executive director of Rise Above Poverty. And the website is
Rise Above Poverty, SYR.org. So that's Rise Above Poverty, SYR.org.
And in addition to the products that people can also write a check, I'm sure.
Yes, they can write a check. They'll get a receipt acknowledging their donation. And we actually like telling people, hey, if you want to drop off a donation to our office, come on, because we love to show people the actual process of what we do at Rise Above Poverty. But for donations, they can drop off supplies, they can drop off funding. We accept both, because they both go towards helping our mission, which is to help students in poverty and homeless situations in our schools.
Well, thank you, Reggie, for being a blessing to the community and helping the community rise above poverty here on Inspiration for the Nation.
George, thank you so much for having me. And again, for those of you who want to contribute, just reach out to us on Facebook at Rise Above Poverty, our website. If you want more information about our reading clinic, you can go on our website there, as well as, and for our boys mentoring program.
Reggie Kelley, thank you.